Hey Taurus, how you feeling? Welcome to the channel. If you're new, Taurus, if you are coming back, welcome back. Taurus, I'm Shauna and this is your highest good tarot. And we are some folks here, Taurus, who are striving to elevate towards our higher selves, towards our highest potential, towards the divine, whichever applies to your spiritual journey. So today is no different. We are talking about your financial focus for 2026 if you're watching this in real time. And if this is not real time for you, because these readings are timeless, this is your financial focus going forward. And I implore you to open your mind and your heart to what Spirit has to say, Taurus, because it's not the status quo type financial focus reading here. For example, one of the zodiacs has been encouraged to basically keep their financial business to themselves because that is where the blockage is. You know, when we allow other energies into our financial business, Taurus, that leaves room for the evil eye. That leaves room for people to project their fears on something that you're trying to do. So, with that said, keep in mind that this message is not for every Taurus placement, and that is okay. You know, take it as it resonates. Let's see what your financial focus is for 2026 for Taurus. Please, Spirit. What's the financial focus for Taurus for 2026? Okay. I'm like, wait. So we have seal documents. Documents include contracts of all various types. Make sure you are reading the fine print of whatever it is you're signing, especially if it has something to do with your monies. Yes, documents, contracts. Bottom of the deck, we have skull. Mm, especially if you are borrowing money. Those loans, advances, read the contract. Everything ain't for you. It ain't easy money. And a lot of times that stuff is very difficult to pay back and pay off. You're going to clarify this and then get some advice for you, especially if, you've been thinking about this and this is the next step because a lot of us are hurting right now, right? And so we'll get some advice from Spirit, but let's clarify contracts and documents for Taurus here. And make sure, Taurus, that you're also documenting what you're spending, especially if you have a business. That's what I'm hearing. Nine of Pentacles, Temperance, Page of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the Chariot. You know, your ambition, Taurus, is well known with the divine. But your ambition also requires discipline. You know, um the Chariot is about willpower. It is about self-discipline. It's about focus. Um, it is also about ambition and being on the right path, not just the right path, but you know, also the divine path. So, um, with that said, this requires focus. Your financial independence, because the Nine of Pentacles is all about that. It's about self-sufficiency. It's about, um, security and getting that, on your own. That is through taking action with your higher self, with your spirit team, your benevolent ancestors in the universe. That's where temperance comes in. That's that spirituality. It's that balance of your self-control, of being guided by, your higher self. And it requires patience. And a lot of times when we feel that we have been backed into uh, a corner and stuck between, not just in a corner, but also between a rock and a hard place. So we're in a corner. That's the hard place. But then there's this big ass rock in front of us. We have a tendency to do things that may be impulsive, do things that um, distract and deter, which is where that focus comes in. A lot of times borrowing money and the idea of borrowing money is a distraction. It is a test. It's a deterrent from keeping us on our path. Can we clarify the Page of Wands here? Please clarify the Page of Wands. And then we'll get the advice here. Clarify the Page of Wands for Taurus. Clarify the Page of Wands. I mean, because Taurus, this abundance, look, taking action. The Page of Wands here is taking that action with, your higher self, the divine, or whoever it is you lean into for that abundance, for that abundance, for the new opportunities. And when you start to trust the path, you have that willpower to say, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna put my trust in my intuition, in my higher self, because it's one thing to believe, it's another to trust. Ask me how I know, Taurus. Oh shit, the bottom of the deck, Ace of Cups. The divine, your higher self, the universe is trying to put you in overflow and abundance, but it requires, you know, that trust. It requires that balance. And so you are being asked not to focus on the borrowing of money to get that quick cash that's going to have you paying back for 20 plus years beyond when it was supposed to be done, because you got a 299% interest rate. So be careful of the contracts, be careful of the documents. What's the advice other than be careful? what else do you advise, Spirit, Taurus? What else is your advice for Taurus? Not only take action with your higher self, because they're not separate. Your abundance is not separate from your spirituality. It's not. You ain't got to go get it. You ain't got to hustle when they trying to give you some shit. You just got to show up and have the willpower to keep at it, keep trusting. And like I said, I know it's easier said than done, but I have to do it. And it requires reminders until it becomes first nature. What else? Advice. Off my soapbox. Back to the advice in the cards. Advice for Taurus, please. Got the Queen of Swords. Regardless of your gender identity and your biological sex, the Queen of Swords is somebody who's very perceptive. She reads them damn contracts. We also have, ooh, the Four of Pentacles. Mm, bottom of the deck again. Discipline. Not just that, self control, but having control over your monies, having control and being tighter with how you're spending. Somebody calls it, frugality, saving. And sometimes it takes us withholding to start saving. You know what I mean? So we have to start changing our habits in order for us to start seeing the pennies that we can save. So initially, you may not have anything that you can put away, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean it won't build into something. But yeah, the Queen of Swords, she is somebody who um, has that control over her her actions. She's very logical. So if emotional spending is a thing that you do, then you're being advised to start being more logical about it, be more perceptive about it, be more strategic because the Queen of Swords is very strategic. She's independent and she's honest with herself. I'm going to go into potential challenges for you, Taurus. And if you're still with me, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell while you at it so you can get them notifications. You know what I'm saying? And personal readings are open. So if you would like to know what your options are, go ahead and shoot me an email. Also, there is a link in the description box below that lets you know how to get a personal pre recorded reading if that is something that you are into. Potential challenges for you, Taurus. We have the Eight of Cups. Change. Like, yeah, it's a challenge for most of us, though. Change. Changing in what we do, something that we've been doing for the longest, something that has worked essentially or seemingly for us, and leaving that behind, leaving those old ways, again. We have the King of Cups, somebody who is emotional, so leaving, emotional spending, emotional decisions. Um, that's what a lot of our spending is based on, something that feels good. When we feel good, or feelings rather, not just feeling good. When we feel good, we're going to spend money on something, whether your thing is food, whether your thing is purses, shoes, um watches, you know, tech, whatever it is. Herbs, I don't know why I heard that, but herbs can be expensive, especially now with them tariffs. Okay, you like them exotic herbs and teas and things. We have to detach our emotions, and that's what you're being asked to do because our emotions can manipulate us into being broke. Into being broke. We spend when we're lonely. We spend when we don't feel as good. We spend when we feel there is some lack in our lives. But you're whole, Taurus. And when you realize that, you could check that feeling like, nah, I'm whole. I'm whole. The money hasn't circled back to me yet. I'm not broke, but the money hasn't circled back to me. It's in circulation and it's coming back. Because money is energy. You can't destroy energy. Spending money is energy. Can't destroy it. It can be created or destroyed. It just circles back to you, right? But yeah, what else? What else for Taurus? regarding their financial focus. Three of Wands. Ten of Wands. And the bottom. Look, we had the King of Cups. Now we got the Queen of Cups. Oh, the Queen of Cups is very intuitive. Very intuitive. I mean, she is emotional, but and this is outside of your biological sex or gender identity, but this is about letting go of the need to have complete say and be intuitively led, you know, because the universe's plan for you, your benevolent ancestors' plan for you, is one of complete success. Is one of where they can see the entire playing field. However, um, the burden has to be let go. You have to take the pressure off yourself. But it also means that you have to exhaust yourself in reminding yourself that you have control over what you do. You may not have control over what others do or say, but you have control over what you do. That's your heaviest burden to carry. That's your heaviest burden to carry. And in order to be successful and to see the things that, you know, in this Nine of Pentacles, to have that financial stability, independence, and self sufficiency, that's what has to happen. Yeah, we're going to get a final word here. Final word regarding your financial focus, Taurus. Final word for Taurus regarding their financial focus for 2026 or beyond. Yeah, this is something I'm glad that we're doing this because it does require focus. It does require practice. You know, it's not something that happens overnight. It's a practice where it becomes first nature. What else for Taurus, please? Okay. Mm. Debt. Remember this? Borrowing cash. Debt. Are you in the driver's seat with your debt, or has your debt taken over and placed you in shackles? Experiment. When you find yourself feeling indecisive about which direction to go, don't be afraid to experiment with multiple options to figure out what works for you. And I am being told to expound on that by advising that when you are exploring these options, lean into your intuition for the best option because they're good options, but what's the best option for you, Virgo? Taurus, excuse me. Maybe you have Virgo in your chart. What's the best option? In order to find that, it does require you cultivating and building that relationship. At the bottom of the deck is competition. Competition. Remember that there is no competition if you are truly original. And Taurus, we already know you are original because you, come on now, Taurus. we know. We know Taurus. Straight up OG. I know. I know. All right. Spirit, is that it? And that's all, Taurus. When you said all you know, it's time to go. Bye.